Middleware Technologies Lab, Task 1. Create distributed application to download various files from various servers using RMI. So here, try to understand the requirement. Here we are going to develop an application. Here the user requirement is we need to download some files. For example, we having two machines, machine A and machine B. Machine A is in USA and machine B is India. They having their own data and they are working their own platform. But if you want some data like bank details, some customer bank details from A to B. So now we need to download from A. So in this environment, so we are going to work like by using RMI tool application. So here RMI is nothing but it is interface, remote method invocation. It is an application protocol interface that provides a mechanism to create distributed application in Java. So the RMI allows an object to invoke methods and object running in another JVM. So the RMI provides a remote communication between applications using two objects, stub and skeleton. So here let's see client program. This is a machine 1 and server program is a machine 2. So client can download the data which is available, whatever available in the server. So that is done through this objects stub, or you may download the data of client, because here client and server having their own servers, having their own data. So how they are going to communicate here, the communication is done through a remote reference layer, that is nothing but transport layer and remote references. So here the communication is done through gateway also. Here gateway is nothing but RMI registry. It is works like bridge between client and server. Here the client having their own programmings according to user requirements. They are going to build their own requirement and their own program. So stub is a standard object that we are created in client side, and skeleton is also a standard object that is we created in server program. So this creation of objects is done in the proxy layer, and coming to programming, that is done in application layer according to the requirement. So stub and skeleton. Characteristics of stub and skeleton is nothing but the stub is an object, act as a gateway for the client side. All the outgoing requests are routed through it. It resides at the client side and represents the remote object. When the caller invokes method and the stub object, it does the following task. It initiates the connection with remote virtual machine. It writes and transmits the parameters to the remote virtual machine. It waits for the result, and it reads and returns the values or exceptions. And it finally returns the value to the caller. Here caller in the sense client. And skeleton. The skeleton is an object that acts as a gateway for the server side of object. All the income requests are routed through it. When the skeleton receives the incoming requests, it does the following task. It reads the parameter for the remote method. It invokes the method and the actual remote object, and it writes and transmits the result to the caller. So how to work with a simple RMA program? First, we need to run all the programs. Like for any application, generally RMI, we are going to work on interface. So first create interface class, and we need to implement that interface class. Next, we create stub and skeleton objects by using like example this is the name of the class. So RMIC adder remote, and now we generate the registry. So start the RMI registry. That is, we have to do by giving port name. RMI registry port name. This is the destination address. Start the server, and now we need to run a client program in one prompt and server program in another prompt. You may work in the same system, or we may work in another system also. You can run client program in one system and server program in another system. Next, so first, how we are going to work RMI. So generally 6 steps we have to follow. First, create the remote interface, and next we need to implement that interface, remote interface class. And generally we are going to giving the methods, and we are implemented that methods. So to call those methods, we need to create objects. So for that objects, we are using standard objects like stub and skeleton objects using RMIC tool. So next, start the registry service by RMI registry tool. So what it initiate the or it can invoke the connection between client and server. And next, as usual, we can start the remote application and also start the client application. And here we taken added as an interface. We taken added as an interface. It is a remote is an predefined public class. So now we need to implement this adder class. Next, adder class we are implemented. So as a adder remote extends unique cast remote object. This is a standard public class. So it can implement add method. Generally, it must returns parameters from server to client. So, and this throws remote exception can handle some server side issues like for a delay of connection or some network problems or some downloading issues. Those can be overcome by remote exception. This is an exception handling. And next, we are implemented interface here. Next, client side program. In client side, we need to create object that is stub. For this adder method, we are creating object is called stub, and this naming lookup. Now, now we calling the add method. Here we are by using naming lookup, we are passing the arguments, and to establish a connection, or if you want to invoke the connection with server, we are doing RMI registry. That is giving like this by giving the port address and name of the server. So next, we are calling the method. Whatever here we created an object and we are calling the method by this object. And in server side, also, we created object that is skeleton. For this, adder remote. So here naming rebind, it can bind the instance whatever we created in client side. So here also we are invoking the connection with client by giving the RMI registry. So now we have to work within the same system with 2 command prompts, or here we have to get output with different same system also with the different command prompts. First step we have to run all the programs like we created interfaces, implement the class, and we are created registry for RMI. So we have to compile and run all the programs. That is the first step. Next, um, we have to work with two command prompts. We have to run client server in one command prompt, and next we have to run server program in another command prompt. Now we are getting the output in one command prompt. We are adding two numbers. Whatever we implemented in server side, we are getting output in client program. So nothing but the interface is implemented in server side, but we get the data in client side, client program. So this is so the simple usage is we having the data in different systems, but we are getting the data another system without any changing in installations, or no need to download entire data. So simply we are taking or collecting the data from server by RMI tool. Thank you for watching.